Now here's a crazy question for you Western world religion people. You've heard of this fellow named Jesus Christ. Here's the question. Was Jesus Christ divine? Okay, I'll say it again. Get ready. Was Jesus Christ divine? And the answer? Think. Write it down. Yes? No? Yes? No? Well, the answer is impossible because the question was. And divine would mean Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning and the end. Okay? So let's start with that. This idea that Jesus Christ is dead in the Christian religion is actually blasphemy. Okay? That's what it is. It's blasphemy. And actually the whole religion is blasphemy, but it's an interesting blasphemy because it has a wrench. It is the wrench. Christianity, well, Jesus Christ, the figure of Jesus Christ, was the wrench in the daughter company of the Jewish religion, which is basically the laws of Moses. And the laws of Moses are fairly well rounded up, probably more than likely by the Pharisees. And I don't think it was much different with the Quran. This character of, what was his name, Muhammad, was probably the same idea as the character of Moses, who may not have even ever existed. But the Pharisees did, and they still do. And the whole concept is that Moses was the bugger that went around killing everybody and making the laws. And when it comes down to it, Judaism, or the Hebrew religion of the Jews, it's basically the laws of Moses. And I'm starting to get the feeling that Moses never really was real. It's a story. But the laws are real. And the laws have been created by the horrors of the warlords when it comes down to it. And that we can get to eventually, but maybe not yet, because I think I'm going to have... No, let's talk first about the wrench. See, but in a second. Let's wind around back to Jacob. Now, we all remember Jacob. Anybody that has a Western religion, anybody in the Western world should actually know about the Western religion because it is controlling everything we do, especially the media. And we're all run by the media. If you don't have a television, you've probably come a little bit farther away from this dictatorship, mendocide kind of thing. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Jacob. Okay. Jacob was a conniving, thieving wimp. Okay? He was what you call a deceiving little bastard. And a lot of people miss this point, but if you read the book, which you should if you're proclaiming it, it says he was a whining little bitch. And Esau, his brother, of course, was the hero who always went out hunting and doing the things that men did, which of course is, that's all. I don't want to say that Esau was a man and Jacob wasn't, but the point of the story was that Jacob got what he got through dishonesty. He lied to his father to get his blessing, and he lied to his father to steal the inheritance and the blessing from Esau. Okay? Because his father thought Esau was a real man and that Jacob was a pussy. And Jacob was a pussy. He was a scum. He was the kind of a guy that you could have said it might have been better that Esau killed him. But Esau wasn't a murderer. Esau didn't want to kill his brother. Even when years later they met again after Esau wanted to kill his brother, he said, "No, I don't want to kill you. You're just a slug. I don't need to step on a slug. It doesn't make me feel any better to knock you down." But let's not talk about the brothers for now. Let's talk about how Jacob became Israel and the hero of the world. First of all, he went and slimed his way into getting himself a couple of wives with his uncle. I can't remember his name, but it doesn't matter. But he went there and said, "Hey man, how about I'll work for 7 years and I can have Rachel?" And his new father-in-law said, "Sure, go ahead, raise the goats, raise the sheep." And he did. And then 7 years later, he got really drunk on his wedding night and had sex with Leah, I think is her name, Leah. And she was the older sister. She wasn't quite as pretty as Rachel, but she was a goer, and he had a good night's sex with her. And then when he woke up the next morning, he said, "Oh my God, you're not Rachel, you're Leah." And then he goes to his father-in-law and says, "What's that kind of joke is this? You trying to pawn off your old used up daughters on me when I want the young..." Yeah, well, that's the story. So 7 years later, after he does some more work, he gets the one he wanted, the Rachel. And they both had housemaids or house, what do you call them? Yeah, handmaids. And his wives told him that he should have sex with the handmaids. So wives told him he should have sex with the handmaids. So it's funny, actually, when you read a book, how things are quite often backwards. Anyway, he had sex with all four of them, and that was sort of the deal that he made with the father-in-law after he stole all the speckled and striped. Completely retarded, the story. But anyway, the whole thing is he got all what he got through hard work and stealing and conniving and lying. Now this is sort of the basis for religion, and it's the basis for most businesses. And religion, of course, is one of the biggest lies there is, and it plays on our fears of death, which it can only do by propagating the concept that reincarnation isn't real, for one thing. I mean, I don't even like to say reincarnation in the Öffentlichkeit because people say, "You must be insane." Well, then we're going to skip it for now and get right on to when Jacob, what were we going to try to do? We're going to try to get up to where the religion came from. Okay, yeah, so Jacob makes a bunch of rules for his sons. Well, not really. His sons are all a bunch of bastards. I mean, they wanted to kill Joseph, and then Joseph goes off into Egypt and takes over Egypt. And of course it's a story, but I think you can even write it back into Babylon. They took over Babylon. The Jews, the Hebrews, or whatever they are. I mean, it's the story, and it's really pissing me off, and I really don't like to talk about it all the time. I wish you people would just get over it.